Alright, so let's get started with our spaghetti. Now this is just some off-white clay. I'm going to load into my clay extruder. Now I've got one of these clay extruders with the handle that twists. Well worth the little extra. Wait until Michael's has a 40% off coupon or your craft store has a 40% off and get it. It makes the price reasonable and the clay will actually come out of it, unlike my experience with the other kind that you have to push. So like I said, this is an off-white clay. It's at least a third, if not half, translucent, because we're working with food, and food is not, this type of food is not totally opaque. Alright, so we cut off our clay. And I like to get that clay right out of the gun because I've noticed that, especially on the lighter colors, it ruins it to have it in the gun for very long. It turns the clay black. So you'll waste your clay if you don't get it out pretty quickly. And besides that, if I don't take it out now, I'll forget. All right, so set that off to the side. Now we have our spaghetti. And I decide, I think I've got a little too much here. Let's see. That looks like a pretty good portion. So I'm going to, I'll do a video on how to do these plates. It's just a plate I made a while back. It's all baked off and glazed with gloss, with the Sculpey gloss glaze. So we've got, I like to put a little bit, since it is finished and baked, I like to put just a squish of TLS in the bottom. And we'll put our spaghetti on. There. Okay, and we'll set this aside to bake, for baking later. Now, out of this same off-white clay, we're going to make two more things. We'll save off a little bit. And we'll roll this into a snake. We need to make our garlic bread. So make probably about 3/8 of an inch around, and take something skinny. You could use a toothpick. I happen to have a knitting needle laying here. And see, my clay got all discolored from my clay extruder just that quickly. Put a couple of little divots on it and then kind of smush it around. Get a shape you like. Make a little, this is your bread loaf. Now, get some chalk out. We need 2 colors of chalk to make our bread look like it's been baked. Let's start with this one. I always feel sorry for this color because this color gets miscalled. Its name gets messed up all the time. Every time I hear someone call it the wrong color, I hear my high school art teacher in the back of my mind yelling, "No, that's yellow ochre! You can call it golden yellow if you want, but don't call it anything else." So, we'll brush. Whoops, my brush still has brown in it. Always start with your lighter color first. Remember, bread gets golden before it gets browned. And then take some brown. I forgot to wash my brush last time, obviously. Now a little brown. You just want to touch just the top. And you'll want to take your time with this. And get it nice and brown. And when you get it the color you want, stick it in your freezer. Put it on a piece of foil or in a little bowl or something and put it into the freezer until it's frozen, about 15-20 minutes. Here's one I did earlier. It's kind of hard, but we want it so it doesn't lose its shape. I worked a long time to get my loaf shape that I liked. So I don't want to mess that up by cutting it. So got it frozen. Let's see if it stayed frozen for me. We'll cut off a couple of slices. Now put this away someplace safe, unbaked, and next time you want to make something with bread, you'll have your bread ready for you. I want to clean my board, and I'm going to put this onto my baking plate. And remember, I almost always bake on a paper plate. So now we need to texture. Kind of use a pick, kind of pick, get a good texture on here. Just like you would if you were making a cake or anything. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're actually going to tone this down, but we want to lift up some crumbs. Give it some air. Take your time, but it doesn't take a whole long time to do. So we'll just do this one. We'll pretend I did that one. Then take a black peppercorn from the kitchen, or you could use a rolled up piece of foil and kind of tone that texture down a bit. Now set this aside till we're ready to bake. We're going to put everything on one sheet and bake it all at once. Now you remember that little bit of clay that I saved off? We need to smush it down. Let's see if I can run it. It's too small to run through my pasta machine. And I don't have my roller here. So we need to smush it down, get it pretty thin. We need to cut that's a little too small. About that size. Think crouton size. And here's 3 little croutons. Just plain little pieces of clay. We're not going to do anything else with them. We're just going to go bake them now. We'll texture those when we texture everything else later. I'm kind of trying to hurry here so we don't have too long a video. Hopefully you'll get everything out of this. Now I took some green. We need salad. A spaghetti dinner needs a salad. This is mainly translucent. It's got some green mixed in it. Then I took some green and just kind of smeared through here, and I ran this through the very, 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 very thinnest setting on my pasta machine. And I can't find my tool. I moved everything so that I would be able to work. We'll use a paintbrush. Then you need something that's got a rounded end on it. It could be the end of your paintbrush. It could be a ball stylus. It could be anything. Something that you can kind of pick off little pieces. And we'll need a bowl. I'm doing my salad. I've got a little bowl here. I made bowls when I made plates. Again, let's put a little bit. This one didn't turn out very flat on the bottom. I should have flattened it better. Little dab. And use your dental pick to just drop this in. And I like having streaks in my clay when I'm making salad. I have several ways I make salad. This is one of them. Remember, no matter how thinly we get this, it's still going to be a little out of scale, but not too bad. And we need to fill this bowl up. It doesn't take very long. I'm just kind of pushing and just kind of trying to make that kind of look like torn lettuce and make it even thinner than it already was. Just a couple more pieces and we'll have enough. That's a little big, but we'll wad it up and stick it in there. You'd want to make smaller pieces. And put that on your baking tray. Put your green clay away. Now, the last thing we need to make before we bake are our meatballs. And because of the way I make meatballs, they're just brown on the inside. So I'm going to run this back through my pasta machine, just enough to get it flat. This is the widest setting, and this is just the smallest camphor round cutter I've got. Now I like to make I like to put 3 meatballs on each plate of spaghetti. So that's what I'm going to make now. If you want more, feel free to make however many you want. Same with your croutons. If you want more croutons, make more croutons. If you want less, make less, I guess. But we just need some simple brown balls. Now, that goes on our plate. Now this all needs to go to the oven, about 230 degrees, about 10 minutes. I noticed the last batch of translucent Sculpey I had said 230 degrees for temperature, so don't go any higher than the temperature, the lowest maximum temperature your clay wants. So these get baked off, and we go to our next step. I hope I'm not rushing too much. Now, we are going to texture our croutons and our meatballs. For this, I need a couple little dishes. And in here, I have sand. I love using sand for a lot of different effects. Let's find my brown sand. And I have some brown sand. We just need a pinch, not very much. And I also used some orange sand because I want to lighten it up just a little bit. Oh, that's okay. And just a pinch of orange. Not very much. And this is sand that I got. I got it at the craft store. It was in one of those kits to make those layered sand art things where you put them in a jar and you layer the sand to make a picture. So they're not very expensive. I saw some at Michael's the other day for, I think, $3.99 for the set. And it had lots of colors of sand. They were just little tiny packages, but you don't need much. The other thing we need is gallery glass in amber. This is used when you're making fake stained glass windows. When you paint it on to windows or plastic. I use this all the time making foods. We need just a little bit. Come on. And it's wet. Just need a little bit. And it comes out looking really opaque and thick, but when you get it, when it dries, it's a clear, just kind of a really pretty clear kind of brown. Now we need, we'll use our dental pick. We're just going to roll our meatballs around in this. And then pick them out and drop them in our sand. And we need to shake them around in the sand. And we'll shake them and shake them and shake them. And make sure that they're separate. They're not together. And we'll just let them dry in the sand. And when they dry, they'll look like that. These are the very same, done the very same way. Then for our croutons, we do the same thing. We just take our little cubes and we throw them into the amber glass paint. And it's some brown, some of this brown sand, and I use brown and white sand for the croutons. And it gives them a nice little, makes them look like croutons. All nice and toasty. And they're really hard to get out of here. There's some. Okay, and there's some I did earlier. All right, now it's time to assemble our spaghetti. So the first thing we need to do is make some spaghetti sauce. And I don't use TLS when I make my spaghetti. I actually use acrylic paint. I use tomato spice color Ceramicoat. And I'm going to put a little bit in here. And I'm going to add just a little bit of sand to it so that it has some texture, because spaghetti sauce is not smooth. And I'll use a toothpick, and I'll mix this up. You don't need very much sand, just enough so it doesn't look smooth, so it looks like there's some, you know, stuff in it. And then paint it on. Yeah, a lot of times when you use TLS to make spaghetti sauce, it comes out looking almost translucent. And spaghetti sauce has more body than that. Now, let's see if I can find a pair of tweezers. There's a pair. Let's drop a couple of meatballs in here. And your paint will act as glue. That one's too big. I made a few bigger scale ones too the other day. So let's put one here. That one's kind of big too. Let's get one there. This looks better. I got a whole pile of them over there. And let's put a little spaghetti sauce over the top. And when you're doing this for yourself, you can take your time and not have to rush. But I don't want us to have to sit here with this video. You don't want to watch a video for the next hour and a half. I could sit here and fiddle with this for hours, actually. But you wouldn't want to sit here that long. All right, so that's our spaghetti sauce. That needs to dry. When it's all dry, give it a quick coat of like a satin finish. Either a satin liquid Sculpey, or you could use, I don't have my satin here, but I've got gloss. I also use Mod Podge a lot to gloss things like that. This is a gloss one. I'd use a satin, I think, there. So now let's work on our bread. We've got our toast. We've got our garlic bread here. For this one, I have some transparent yellow glass paint. It was bright with the gallery glass. It's a different brand. I happen to like this for this. It looks like melted butter. And once again, I have a plug. These do plug up. Don't worry about it. Just stick a pin down it. And kind of smear that on. Smear it around a little with your pick. And if you want, on some slices I made earlier, I sprinkled just a tiniest bit of green, I don't know if you can see it, green sand to look like little herbs. Let that dry, and it's ready to go. And this one's all dry and ready to display. Now it's time to work on that salad. So we need to take our salad. And I've got mine all glued together because I forgot to leave one not done. But what I did was I used some white glass paint, and I just dropped my croutons on there. And this is my salad dressing. Just put just a squirt of that across and drop your croutons in, and you've got a salad. So that's your spaghetti dinner. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope the dolls in your dollhouse have a great dinner. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.